Welcome back to the channel, Guardians. Before we start this video, I need to say this: a massive thank you for helping the channel hit 1k subs. The journey continues with the breakdown of the brand new sub-archetype Waveframe Grenade Launcher that dropped with the delightful campaign, Dimensional Hypotrochoid. I hope I said that correctly. Blood, sweat and tears go into the making of my videos, so if you do find this informative at any stage, drop me a like. Let's jump in, people. So, I don't have a clue on whether I am even pronouncing this weapon's name correctly, so I'm just going to call it the Dimension. It's the first ever Stasis Waveframe Grenade Launcher ever released in Destiny 2, and the first compressed Waveframe sub-archetype that sits in the heavy slot. As this is a new weapon type, let's break this down and compare it to other grenade launchers. Unfortunately, it seems that compressed waveframes have the exact same functionality as standard special waveframe grenade launchers, but do nearly twice as much damage, and have a considerably larger mag size. Standard waveframes can damage you if fired at close proximity, however, you do not want to do that with compressed frames. Firing at close proximity at the moment will one-shot you, so make sure there's some distance between you and combatants. The wave has the same radius and reach for both archetypes, which makes the new frame a little lackluster and way too similar to standard waveframe grenade launchers, so I decided to test out whether the weapon is any good during a boss DPS phase, and I was left very disappointed. First off, standard waveframes fire one shot, whilst compressed frames will have 5 in the mag and have the same rate of fire as adaptive frame grenade launchers, such as Regnant. For the purposes of this video, the damage numbers are on screen, courtesy of our Ravenous Ogre in the Cosmodrome. Please note that these numbers don't include the Dimension's origin trait, Nano Rockets, which we will cover soon. The perk it rolls with also prevents it from synergizing with any Stasis builds, which is a shame. However, at the end of the day, it is the first of its archetype. So, with that in mind, this weapon, unless it changes dramatically in a future update, is not a DPS weapon, period. With that out of the way, it is a solid ad clearing option in the heavy slot, and it's perfect for ad heavy encounters such as non-boss raid encounters where no DPS is really needed. This weapon is craftable and relatively easy to obtain, as doing the Neomona campaign on Legendary on all 3 characters guarantees free red borders of this weapon. Blast radius is probably the only real option to spec into, as the grenade on hitting the floor explodes and the blast radius only affects that initial contact with the ground. For the first column, Volatile Launch increases the blast radius at the cost of handling and velocity, whilst in the second column you only have 2 choices, the best one being high velocity rounds, increasing velocity of the fired projectile. I'm going to jump to the 4th column straight away, as the 3rd column has a couple of decent options. My pick for the 4th column is Chain Reaction, especially the enhanced version. Whilst Vorpal Weapon may sound good, it only gives a 10% buff on champions and bosses, and again, this weapon is not for DPS, and the rest of the perks, with maybe the exception of One for All, are not ideal for a heavy weapon. Chain Reaction makes things go boom when killed. Not only that, it grants extra reserves, improving the ammo economy of the weapon. The weapon also has the Neomona origin trait, Nanotech Rockets. On getting multiple hits on combatants, the weapon releases a micro missile, and guess what? The perk inherits the Chain Reaction perk also, meaning getting kills with the micro missiles causes them to explode as well. Before we visit the 3rd column perks to decide what the best ones are, and whether it's usable in PvP, we have reached the midway point of this video. Still with me? Great. Slap that like button if you're finding this content informative, and subscribe for future content. Let's move on. For the 3rd column, there are 2 very good options here. Whilst you may be tempted in grabbing a stats for all, one for all roll, taking off Chain Reaction would effectively nerf the weapon. You'll want to choose either Field Prep or Envious Assassin. Why Envious Assassin? If you saw my recent Regnant review, you will know that Envious Assassin will overflow the weapon from reserves up to 150% of the mag capacity, as long as you get multi-kills in quick succession, within 10 seconds of each kill to be precise. You can get up to 13 total rounds in Dimension, however, dying will obviously revert the magazine back to 5, and whilst this perk is excellent on a DPS weapon, it's not essential on this waveframe. Field Prep, on the other hand, not only dramatically increases your reload speed and handling when crouched, it gives you an extra 2 reserve grenades. This, paired with enhanced Chain Reaction, will allow you to have a total of 19 rounds to play with. That's it for the PVE roll, ladies and gents. Remember, God rolls are subjective to the user. God roll or not, however, this weapon is an ad clearer in the heavy slot, taking away your rocket launchers, swords, or whatever DPS weapon that tickles your fancy. I strongly recommend to not use this weapon for solo endgame content, looking at you Lost Sectors in particular. Now, PvP, is there any point in even reviewing this in PvP? Just for my pain and suffering whilst I try to clip kills with this thing? Whilst in momentum control it's fun to use, screw regular Crucible. This thing needs a friggin' buff today. A heavy weapon that cannot one-shot in Crucible, massive red flag, do not use this weapon in PvP for your own sanity, until it receives a buff that makes it one-shot. You have been warned, Guardians. Stick to your Wendigos if you're going to use it in a Crucible. It only does 152 damage per hit on a Guardian, for sake. That's it, folks. This weapon is quite underwhelming considering it's a heavy weapon. It's a very strong ad clearer, but would you sacrifice your best DPS weapons in favor of it? Heavy ad encounters? Why not? But most content requires DPS at some stage, and this weapon, unless it gets some sort of rework, goes straight back into the vault. It receives a solid 2 out of 5 on the Alchemist scale, but I feel that is being very generous. You cannot use this weapon at close quarters, it's an accident waiting to happen. That's it for this video, peeps. I hope you enjoyed it. Next up, we have had a few super updates on Hunter lately, and Star Eaters has been in the vault for a while. I need to revisit which super does the most damage whilst paired with the scales. Don't forget to leave a like if you made it to the end, and subscribe for future content. We are on a roll, people. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time, see you later.